So with disc golf getting bigger and bigger, the pros are becoming celebrities. But who do we think the best non-disc golf celebrity card would be? Stay tuned to find out.
3, 2, 1.
We're going to get right into it. We are talking about celebrities playing disc golf. There have been a few in the news lately of guys that aren't necessarily on the Pro Tour, but celebrities that are probably more popular than the sport in total playing disc golf. So we're going to go one by one and decide who our favorite celebrity non-disc golfer card that we'd like to play with. So we're just going to choose 3 people and kind of tell you why. This is definitely something that you guys can participate in. Comment down below what you guys would think. But we're going to get started in here. Lou, who would be your dream celebrity card to play a round of disc golf with?
Ooh, so wait, disclaimer first, right?
Okay.
And welcome all our listeners around the world, first off. They would all have to be, like, decent players, right? Just, who cares? We're going to have to give that, right? I don't want to go out and play a miserable round with anybody just to hang out with them. Let's just say it's a legit round.
Yeah, I think you're right. We're assuming that these people aren't, we're not choosing who we think would be a good disc golfer.
Right.
We're saying who we would like to play, assuming they are good enough to play a fun round with.
And you could go out with the weekend round with the boys.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
I think
girl.
No, I didn't come up with a girl. I don't know why. I think there's plenty of girls in comedy that I would pick from, but the guys that I chose for this would be, all male comedians. The first person that comes to my mind would be Bill Murray, because I think I'll never have an opportunity to ever really hang out with Bill Murray in my life, and I hear it's exquisite. Like, Bill Murray is like a freaking fine wine, right? I mean, there's only so much of him, and geez, everybody that gets to spend time with him, his comedy is it's timeless. Bill Murray is timeless. So his antics on what we see on golf, like, we know he's a golfer. He plays really well. He's just, when you think golf, you might think Bill Murray too. So, anything from Caddyshack and just him on the golf course in his years, his comedic genius is second to none. He owns and commands that craft of his bit. So just to be able to hang out with Bill Murray would be my number 1 pick.
All right, number 1. Who's number 2?
Number 2, I'm going to have to go with somebody that I kind of really grew up with, and that's Will Ferrell. I think Will Ferrell is ridiculous. I just picture him from old school, and I want to feel that. I want Frank the Tank, And then last, I would think someone very relevant, Bert Kreischer.
Yeah.
Amazing story about he, just falls into what disc golf is, looking for something to do and hearing about it. And that's just like everybody else's story that hears about disc golf. So totally relatable. But guess what? Dude is the most ridiculous person I've ever heard do stand-up. And he has that energy too, like that it factor of just being around him. You can't find that in many people. He has a presence, an energy, a gravity, and just getting all these people that are their own craftsmen in comedy. I would hope to say very little and just be a spectator up front, hanging out with these boys on a weekend. And that would be my 4-person card. Me, Bill Murray, Will Ferrell, Bert Kreischer.
Quite a card. Interesting that you chose all comedians, obviously. So you're definitely going with the fun, casual
I want the experience.
round. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't want, Michael Jordan or Michael Phelps and Usain Bolt. I want to have a good time. I don't really want to even think about scores, and I don't know if any of us really would.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's a great card. Joanna, what about you? I have a feeling you're going to go a little bit of a different route.
What made you think that, Dave?
Oh,
Why
I
would
don't
I go
know.
a different route than Lou?
Well, maybe we're on episode 16. I've hung out with you guys before. A couple clues I've picked up here and there.
So you are correct. I did not go the comedian route. I was thinking about people who would, well, maybe that's not even true. I guess I just went with my gut because I have a weird mix of folks, and we're just gonna assume they get along and we have a dandy time. Okay, so like. Lou was thinking about the experience, like the Pro Tour is for spectators. Just kidding, like our last episode.
Yeah, I just want
Anyway.
the front row seat, right?
Yeah. Okay, so my first person is none other than, oh, Captain, my childhood crush, my forever love, your number one fangirl for Derek Jeter. I love him. Like, I kid you not, there was a poster on my bedroom door growing up as, young gal loving the Yankees.
The
with
slugger.
None other than them on my door. I would say hello to them every morning. Derek Jeter's biography book was in the bathroom. I love that thing. I read it so many times. So, Derek Jeter is number one. And if he's unavailable, you know what? We won't even cross that bridge because in this
No
dream
alternates.
scenario,
No alternates.
no alternates. Okay, because I was going to say Aaron Judge because I'm also obsessed with him and
Okay.
he's attainable. So call me.
So if you needed a backup,
just
he
kidding.
would be your alternate, Aaron
Yeah,
Judge.
he's my Yankee alternate.
Now, I just want to. Can I picture these that they're coming? What, like dressed for disc golf or dressed like Yankees?
They could be dressed for disc golf because I've
Okay.
seen them in pinstripes. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so that's number one. Number two. Okay, so disc golf is physics, right? And it's science. So I picked none other than, drumroll please, Bill Nye the Science Guy. Because
Ooh, very good.
who else is going to tell us about these angles? Yeah. Also, I thought it could be fascinating to, see his reaction to discs and, overstable, understable plastic. I know my own reaction when they do super cool stuff.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think it could be an interesting conversation, and maybe he has the smarts and can create the next, whatever,
Ultra far
newfangled
discs.
technology for disc golf. So he's my
Nice.
number two. Number three, this was a real toss-up, and I still don't know who I'm going to say. So, okay, I just decided. So I'm going to go with every time I'm on a long road trip to play disc golf, I listen to none other than Billy Joel. So, because he is my beginning and ending of the day of my disc golf experience, I decided he should come disc golf.
Make it in the middle, too.
So, yeah, pretty weird card. Me, Derek Jeter, Bill Nye the Science Guy, and Billy Joel.
No, this sounds great.
I'd watch coverage of that.
For sure. I mean, I wouldn't feel like, I would feel that a made-up card of people and celebrities, I think could still be cool. And
Absolutely.
I totally could see that. Being, a scientist, a musician, and a baseball player walk into a bar with Joanna. This is the beginning of a joke.
Oh my God, and the beginning of my wildest dream.
Right. So, Dave, what about you? In retrospect, after hearing this, do you feel persuaded to change any answers? I mean, you had the longest to hear.
Yeah.
Because you spilled nothing
Yeah.
to this point.
I think you guys have great cards. Certainly, I would enjoy being on either of your cards, but of course I went with my personal preferences. Making my list, I started with, who's one of my favorite actors from my favorite movie. So my favorite movie is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Main character, anybody guess?
George Clooney.
George
For
Clooney.
1,000.
You got it. Ding,
Yes.
ding, ding. So I would love to just be with him, talk about, kind of techie TV video guy, talk about movies and behind the scenes and sets and things like that with him while playing disc golf. So that was my first pick. And then after that, I kind of went with the sports route because I think it would also be interesting to see other athletes trying to play disc golf. So again, we're assuming they already know how.
That's a topic in its own. And
Oh,
you know
it is, absolutely. So maybe we're, leading into this a little
second
bit.
second half of this.
Something like that. So
You wanted
here,
second half of the episode? We'll come back to
Yeah,
this.
bowling, billiards, boxing. We
That's
know
right.
it's all in those sports.
And we will bookmark it for now. B B B B B B B. And he has a B in the studio. Thank you.
and speaking of B, my first athlete that I chose, Bo Jackson, maybe the most athletic person that I have ever met. Multi-sport athlete, one of the fastest, most athletic football players you ever met. Also was playing baseball professionally at the same exact time, literally going back and forth between stadiums. You've seen him run up walls, catching outfield, fly balls and stuff like that, outrunning everybody in the field. I just think his athleticism would far surpass anything we've seen in the disc golf pro tour so far.
And do you know he had a documentary, one of these ESPN 30 for 30s, and dude didn't even work out a day in his life.
Yeah, natural, pure, farm boy strength.
That's not
Joanna,
fair.
you have to watch this. Great pick. One of
I do need to watch it.
Yeah.
My top 3 athletes: Michael Jordan, Bo Jackson, and Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
My three top growing up athletes, and yeah, playing for the Oakland Raiders, and then also going to play for the A's, right?
Yeah.
He played for Kansas City Royals. I'm sorry.
Royals.
Yeah, he played for the Royals.
Yeah.
Kansas City Royals. I'm sorry. I don't know if he solely stayed there, but I know that was most.
Yeah, I
of his
think he
time.
probably played a couple different teams over the years, but yeah. So Bo Jackson would be. I think he'd probably throw like 750 feet. Forehand, putter, whatever.
Putter.
But then other than the extreme,
Rounding out your card.
yeah, and so other than the extreme pure athleticism, thought about somebody who might be just very good thrower of the disc. This may be not the most famous celebrity, but someone who used to pitch for the New York Mets, a sidearmer, basically through underhand. It was so sidearm that I figured might translate well into a forehand. Chad Bradford, the submarine pitcher, threw 90, 95 plus miles an hour and just pinpoint accuracy. And I would just love to see him slinging forehands down some open course like Las Vegas or Emporia, Kansas or something like that. I just think that would be amazing.
Wow.
Interesting. So we all really went different routes.
Yeah. And that's cool. It kind of fits like what our personalities are, what we're thinking. I think that was very interesting.
Wow. So Lou's here for the laughs. I'm here to keep it weird. And Dave's here to...
Wait, why is yours to keep it weird?
I don't know.
You were into it.
Because my mix
No,
was
you-
kind of
you're-
weird.
Wait,
and then Dave was like
hold
pure
on.
athleticism.
No.
Oh, wait.
Yours,
And George Clooney.
yours-
And George Clooney.
Oh, wait, hold on.
I forgot
Joanna.
about George Clooney.
No, Joanna, listen. Yours was intellectual, and yours was inspirational with music, and it was. It really was. And then yours was your heart, and people that you really look up to.
I guess that's true.
So
we
then
all were
for-
our heart, though.
For Dave, he was like man crushing on George Clooney.
I mean, do you
and
blame
then
me?
he had
Come on.
two
Really?
On
athletes
all
he
of
liked to
them.
play with. No, we all did. We all did.
Yeah. I mean, I would just
We
love to see some of those guys
We
play.
all crushed. We crushed on these people.
Yeah. So cool list, thinking of kind of similar vein. So we came up with these lists ahead of time. I'm going to ask a question or two that we don't have prepared, but in a similar vein, like I said.
Hot takes.
So
Hot
here's
takes.
my question. What disc golfer, any pro disc golfer, either current or in the past, do you think would excel greatly at a different sport, and what sport is that? Choose one each. Who wants to go first? Anybody have an idea?
Well, I'm trying to just really quick think
And it
of
should be
any-
something that we know that they didn't previously play.
Right, that's a good point.
So are we just judging based off of looks and their abilities?
Judging off
What we
anything.
think.
Open-ended question. What do you think? Who would be good at something else? We talked. Bo Jackson played multi-sports. Michael Jordan did that. Those
I'm
are
going to
quite
go
a
with
few.
Gannon Burr could really succeed in volleyball.
Yeah.
I was
that-
going to
that's a good one.
say...
Right? Just I'm trying to pick people apart off of looks though, because I really don't know. It's weird.
I was going to say
who would
James
make-
Conrad would jump hurdles.
There
Can
you
you
go.
see him?
He feels like he is
jumper?
bouncy,
Yeah,
right?
he's already jumping hurdles on the T-pad. Looks like. Yeah, that's a good one. And both of you went with like the height, getting into different
Well,
sports.
because it becomes that. It becomes a judgment off of like aesthetics, what the build of the person is. So
Yeah.
if I pictured as a professional sport, so are we talking like Ezra? A professional sport could be
Arm wrestler.
bodybuilding, arm wrestling. Could be what else could we see Ezra doing? Baseball, for sure. Baseball.
CrossFit.
I can see. No, I can see Ezra straight up being like a baseball player.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Just a slugger, home run, bat and cleanup, or designated hitter. Doesn't even need to run.
I'm going to picture a lot of players in disc golf that probably have a great build for baseball. For sure.
I mean, I think it's an interesting question because obviously everybody most people at the top level of any sport are athletic in general, so they could probably compete at some other kind of sport at better than the average level.
Yeah. Did you? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was thinking about the ladies' side too, because we actually the three of us, we didn't pick any females for our cards. But
It's weird.
I think
It's weird.
when I think of like overall athleticism, I think about Katrina Allen and Missy Gannon. I don't know. To me, I don't know why. Well, I know why for Kat. I mean, she's been like very vocal about her training and like her diet, and everything is like very regimented. So I feel like anything that she picked, she would stick to and like really work hard to achieve in that lane. So
I could see Kat being someone, and don't take this as like, it's just something that pops in my head. There's a lot of similarities, like a professional archerer, like someone who is shooting archery.
Oh yeah.
And shooting arrows, just like something about the precision, the seriousness of it, the preparation, the work that goes into it. Because Kat always kind of strikes me as somebody that works hard at her aspects of her life and her physicality that contribute to her disc golf game. So I think someone who is doing any type of shooting, like even rifle or anything, I think
I didn't even think about that.
that's I could see Katrina transitioning over to being like a marksman or a sniper or something. No, I'm not kidding.
No,
She
you're right.
seems very, very focused. Unlike, she's her own type of focus. You can't it's her own brand of focus. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, Katrina Allen, very intense of a person. For it would have to be a very serious thing.
Yeah.
So when you take that and then you're like, hey, disc golf, Katrina Allen, it's very serious to her.
Yeah.
Not to undermine anybody else's thoughts of the sport.
Oh yeah, that's just how she approaches it, and you should certainly
She wears that on her
excel
sleeve.
in other
She
sports like that.
wears
Totally.
the severity of how much she cares about it on her sleeve.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really interesting. Wow. Yeah.
So when I was
Great
thinking about
point,
this
Lou.
question, it kind of came up because I've had a thought about somebody since I started watching disc golf. I always thought, and this is, no offense, I think this is just kind of the body style and probably the work ethic and things like that you were talking about. Paul Macbeth always to me looked like a horse jockey.
Oh no!
A jockey?
Yeah.
Take that back. Take that back.
Why? Why do you say that?
No, jockeys are so small.
Right, you have to be very fit, right? And then he dresses very professionally. These guys have the uniforms to match their horses and stuff like that. And I don't know, I always
think
just got the
Paul's that
vibe from
Paul's
that.
not small though.
Oh, I know, but
You could have said like Emerson.
well, I'm not picking him because he's short. I didn't say
Well,
that
jockeys,
I know jockeys generally are short.
but okay, so his
his
attire,
aesthetic,
his
yes.
aesthe-
I'm
his
not
dress.
saying that Paul is short, so he should be a horse jockey. To clarify, sorry, Paul, if you're watching this.
Right. Okay. Listen. Clearly, that's we think
Hot
we
take.
thought we thought that you were saying Paul was perfect build and everything for being a jockey. Sorry.
I'm gonna
sorry.
cry on HyzerCast.
Yeah, it's just a vibe thing. It's not a short thing.
You imagine the little Paul Macbeth lantern you could buy for your driveway where he's holding the lantern.
Doesn't he look like the little lantern guy? That's what I'm saying. He has that vibe. He looks like a disc jockey. I'm not
a disc jockey.
a horse jockey. This episode is going south. Maybe we should move on.
Oh my gosh.
said a
Holding
disc-
holding
a
the
disc
lantern,
jockey.
welcoming people to disc golf.
Holding a disc and a basket, a disc jockey.
I mean, yeah. You blame me? We're talking about disc golf. The words just kind of
No,
mixed up in my
this
mind.
was great. This was
Jockey.
This
That's a
was
good
No,
great.
new sport.
Wow.
You're riding a horse. Got to run by a basket, and you got to throw it in. Disc
I
horse
have a tear.
jockey.
I have a tear.
I calmed down, I think. That was
Okay.
amazing.
Good.
I'm getting there. I'm trying to
So
get
that was fun. I want to move on to the next question now. Basically, we went. What would disc golfers be for other sports? What sports would they be good at? I want to talk about vice versa. Think about other athletes, right? Any sport. Current. Are you guys all right? Do we want to?
there. No, we're good.
I
This
think
is
we're
good.
okay.
We're good. We're getting there.
We're just gonna give everybody a second.
No, we're good. We're good. Keep
listen.
going.
No, we're
Just
good.
keep going. We're following your voice. We're just following your voice.
Any athletes, other sports, past or present, want to be a disc golfer? What other sports, maybe just sports in general, that would translate well into disc golf, or what athletes, you kind of already touched on someone we'd like to see on a card, but let's go outside of that, that you
And
think would be
specifically-
very good at disc golf if they went
Specifically an
from their
athlete.
sport
Maybe.
and started dedicating their time to becoming a disc golfer.
I'm gonna go hockey player or baseball player.
Okay.
I think, like you brought up the style of pitcher, I think that softball immediately jumps to me. The windmill from these women, just picture them throwing like a leopard or a stag on a super vertical upside down shot. That thing would hyzer flip to flat, no problem.
Yeah, you're right.
Whip! It's out of their hands. It's amazing. So softball pitchers, I would say would be at the top of my list, and then I would say hockey players because once again that forehand motion.
Slap shot.
Yeah, I like the forehand players. I like the forehand players that could bomb 475, 500 because I can't. So to me, I idolize wanting to see an athlete that can crush a forehand. You were talking about pitchers throwing 95 miles an hour. Imagine you could translate that to a disc.
I think it'd be
That's
fairly,
some serious power.
fairly easy.
You hold the disc. One of the questions I ask people if they've are picking up a disc for the first time, one of the first questions I'll ask is, "Have you ever played baseball?" And whether it's something you did in gym or you've played summer leagues or you played, t-ball, whatever, you can translate this, like how you would hold a baseball with two fingers, to a front edge of a disc, and translate that and understand what sidearm motion looks like. So you could create that throw that way. And then for the backhand, you can translate batting opposite and leading with your right arm and keeping it tight to the body. So I would just love to see someone who can throw a forehand crush, one of those athletes, like a hockey player or softball pitcher.
Okay. Joanna, what do you think? You have anybody or any sport in mind?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was definitely going to say baseball. I think that's like the easiest
Yeah.
transition sport. I really do love the hockey idea. I mean, when you think about where the power comes from, also, it's the
Core
same
torque.
idea. Yeah, the core torque for sure. I don't know. Let's think like. Honestly, baseball was the one that really jumped out at me.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, that's the obvious one.
yeah, and I hated going with like such the obvious one because
Well,
I'd
do
like
we
to think
say?
there's a little more creative. But I mean,
But if you took like a quarterback, right, and put a driver in their hand and told them to throw it like a football, would it go 400 feet easily?
no.
I
like
mean,
a-
you'd
an
have to be
overhand
able
or
to
a toss?
transition.
Like if you coach them a little bit, so like if you took like Cam Newton, and just loaded him up with like a destroyer and showed him how to throw a thumber, you don't think he'd be able to throw a thumber like 500 feet?
No, probably. I mean, I think anybody who plays in primarily a throwing sport
Yeah.
has aptitude and like just naturally knows how things fit in their hand and can
Sure.
really snap it out. Like the idea of
Feel the
finding snap, like release, like at what point does your hand open? Like they already know that. Like that is so
Feeling the
ingrained
release
in them.
point.
Yeah, like that's totally unlocked. So anything that is throwing. I mean, we have that funny clip from I don't know, one of our first episodes, like billiards, boxing, baseball, whatever. Like, but it's true. Anything that has that pocket of punch, the pop, so like in boxing, of course, like the pow, like the fast, twitchy movements, but like that are controlled. Like anything that has a pop of power, I think really will translate well to disc golf. Yeah. Now, who specifically, other than a sport, like within each sport?
I have another one. I have another sport we didn't talk about. Here's one, and I don't know a single player that's a professional by name, but darts. Do you ever watch people play darts?
Yeah,
like
but you think like boop would translate to
putting.
Putting.
But
I think the mental part of it, maybe not physical. The consistency.
Or oh wait.
Cornhole.
What exactly? What's the kid that's playing now? You know all the young bucks, Joanna. Come on, you're coverage queen.
What? Oh, okay.
That has the cornhole style putt.
Yes, he steps into his putt.
Oh yeah, that's so
the mockery
interesting.
stuff. Yeah, but it translates, right? And we're talking about throwing styles, but we also have to talk about putting styles too. Right. So I think darts, cornhole, horseshoes, or even like anything that is that pitching style game is going to be somewhere. In something in that, you're going to find an athlete in that sport that's going to be dominant in putting. James Conrad, really good with hand-eye coordination and juggling. Could you be a professional juggler? And how would you not be able to translate that to being a good putter? It's no trick or guess as to why he's a good putter. He's a really talented athlete with his hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
So these dart players and cornhole players are totally going to be great putters in disc golf.
Yeah. So that's definitely true. So I was thinking about something. Actually, I came up with the thought of, and I'm probably not the first person, but recently thinking about a sport of a different throwing sport to translate to my throwing style, and I came up with javelin, with the front plant foot translating to transferring the power from a forward movement to forward body momentum into your throwing motion. I threw stuff in high school and college, and mostly I was very good at shot put. So you really got your power from the legs, ground up, pushing it into the shot put. And I think that's how I was throwing a disc, trying to push off my back leg. And Louis, you're kind of more of a form expert and professional than me, but I kind of started doing something where instead of focusing on pushing off of my back leg, I focus on planting on my front leg to stop my momentum, to transfer it up to my upper body and move forward like a javelin would. Obviously, they're doing the other foot, but I think the theory kind of translates well, and it's helped me. So I think that's a good one for as a javelin for sport.
Yeah, all those track and field sports, right?
Yeah.
Even the hammer toss. Just you see those people spinning? I can't imagine how many G-forces you would need spinning around. I don't want to go back into the science of things again. We get lost
Bill
in that
Nye,
hole real
comment
fast.
down below.
That's why he's on my card.
But seriously, the throwing style, like the 360 throw, right?
Yeah.
Someone in track and field doing the hammer throw would probably be really good at a 360 throw with a disc.
Yeah.
And be able to crush these discs on these enormous Anhysers and get these big flex shots.
Great.
Who knows? But there are so many sports that translate.
Yeah.
Do you think basketball translates?
I do, because it's a whole body connection.
Calvin
And it's-
Heimberg does the
free throw putt. So yeah, like treating your practice of the free throw.
Yeah, but it's the repeatable motion. It's like,
Right.
what is that consistent and at different distance? Like, what does that feel like from different distances?
I can't believe my first reaction was like, no, I don't see it. I'm just thinking of, like, you don't run around, like, you don't try to jump and like dunk on anything in the woods.
literally the only other sport where they throw into a basket.
No, I feel
yeah.
embarrassed.
All right, one last question, one lightning round question. Same question to both of you. If
Okay.
there were a disc golf movie, regardless of what it was about, who would be the main actor?
I pick.
Yep, ding, ding, ding.
Oh, no.
Lou ringing in. Just
Oh, that's not fair.
Nope.
What are you knowing?
No, I
You
mean,
can't
me,
think?
like,
Just-
I don't know actors.
just quick. Or whatever. Whoever. Actor
I'm gonna
or celebrity or yourself.
I'm going with Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. Okay. Any
Yeah.
reason why? Just
I
that's what
would
you
want
thought
it
of?
to be like, I want it to be like a really good tale, like Bagger Vance. What was that? The Legend of Bagger Vance?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something
just
like
really
that.
good
Like
story,
a real story. Real. He's a real, genuine person.
That's a good
He's
one.
He's got his head on his shoulders. He's lived life. He's humble. I don't know how, I don't know him at all.
Yeah.
No,
No, that's a
but
good pick. Absolutely.
So some of the last things that I've heard him quote, and he's an actor, has been very, very humble. He seems to have his head in a good place, and I think it'd be cool to see someone like that playing a character, trying to be like an up-and-comer disc golfer to eventually, maybe the story's about him winning a world championship.
That'd be great.
I think it would be a good movie.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Joanna, do you have any thoughts on somebody?
I do.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go. This movie is going to be on Juliana Korver and her return to like the Pro Tour. So like her last season, and I think it should be Hilary Swank.
Oh.
Okay.
Very good. I see the similarities in the look, and obviously
at
she could
first
play
I thought
anything.
like, oh my gosh, like okay, $1 Million Baby, and then I'm like, wait, Hilary Swank would be a great person for this, and I was like, what's a great story of like a woman disc golfer who's still relevant that like people you could have in the movie, like do comparisons
Yeah.
of whatever. And
Yeah, she's
it
been
could be a
throwing
cool thing.
discs for quite some time, and even in her time off, I didn't
Her whole
get to
story
see
is
her
awesome.
play. Right, and I've never had the chance to see her play live or compete, and in her period in time off, she was very involved with freestyle, and
Yeah.
through Facebook and being friends with her, just to see her growth, she would post so many videos, and I'll say this over and over and over again, that women put out the best and most content of disc golf compared to men, and that would be awesome.
Hilary Swank, Juliana
Yep.
Korver. Boom.
We're
Very
going with
good.
Joanna's. We're
Yeah.
going with Joanna's because
Yay! I'm
mine
so
is
glad
just
I
some
thought of
like
that.
bum like story, like Rookie of the Year or Angels in the Outfield starring Shia LaBeouf, and Joanna had this whole real story. That would be awesome to highlight something that is genuine to our sport, which is a return of a queen,
Absolutely.
Juliana Korver, for
Right.
sure.
That would be a great movie. I would definitely go see it in theaters. I would obviously pick George Clooney, but that's just me.
That's full circle.
Full circle.
That's good comedy.
And that's how we're going to end this episode. Thank you all for watching. If you're listening, please leave us a review on whatever audio platform you're listening to. Yes, do so. Lou's telling you not to. I'm telling you to do so.
Leave us a nice comment. Thank you.
Comment down below who your dream card would be, like we said at the beginning. I think it'd be very interesting to see what you guys are thinking about, who you'd play with, give the reasons why, things like that. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you in the next hole.